Hello everyone and welcome to my Bellona jungle guide. So I hope this is useful for you guys. On screen you can see the topics I'm going to be covering, so click one of those if you're only interested in one section. The tips and tricks section of the guide will contain a bit where I go over sort of different situations and which weapons you want to be attacking with, because I think that's kind of a hard thing to master as Bellona, especially if you're a new player, but I will be going over that in the tips and tricks section of the guide. But other than that guys, I hope you find this guide useful and yeah, enjoy. So the first thing to note about Bellona is that she is an auto-based god. Although her bludgeon does a ton of damage, her main damage comes from her auto-attacks. Her advantages are that she is great in team fights with her ultimate and her 2 hitting multiple targets. She also is really good at boxing the enemy ADC with her Scourge, which gives her a disarm and also the block that she gets from her shield bash. She also has really good situational abilities. As I said, I'll go over that in the tips and tricks section of the guide, but she can adapt really well depending on who she's fighting. Her one disadvantage that I could really think of is that she uses her ultimate for an escape. To jump away, she doesn't really have anything like Thor's hammer, which she can just teleport away with. She has to use her ultimate in order to get away, which you should do if you have to, but it can be a bit of a waste at times. So now on to how to build Bellona. So the starter build is going to be the same as the one I use in my best starter build video for jungle. So if you haven't seen that, go have a look at it if you want to know why I get these items. But I'm going to get Bumba's Mask, 3 healing potions, a red pot or potion of physical might, whatever you want to call it. Wait until like 17 seconds before the match starts, and then pop that, buy 2 mana potions, and then leave base. Buy Warrior Tabai, which is your first core item. Archival, if the only sort of time you wouldn't get Archival is if there aren't many physical damage dealers on the enemy team, which isn't going to happen very often, because the way Archival works is it reduces your target's physical power and increases yours. So if there aren't many physicals, that's a bit of a wasted item, but most of the time there are going to be quite a few. Frostband Hammer, really useful item. This item is getting nerfed slightly. The amount of health it gives you is being reduced on Tuesday, which is the 3rd of November, but it's still going to be a really good item, so still get it. So it gives you some health, makes you a bit tankier, gives you some physical power, and also gives you more chase potential by reducing the enemy movement speed. Also reduces their attack speed as well, so it goes sort of hand in hand with Bellona's Scourge, which disarms and stops them auto-attacking altogether. Then by the time that they can auto-attack again, their attack speed slowed, so really useful item there. Executioner, really good item as well in terms of doing damage. Gives you physical power, some attack speed, and also gives you some penetration by reducing your target's physical protections. Royal's Beat Stick is a bit of a situational item. It gives you some physical power, some penetration, but the main reason you get it is the passive. Enemies hit by your basic attacks have 40% reduced healing and regeneration for 8 seconds. That's huge. 8 seconds is a very long time. You're probably going to have killed 2 people in that time, in a team fight at least. Like, it depends obviously how tanky they are and how much damage you're doing, but 8 seconds is a ridiculous time in a team fight. So yeah, like 8 seconds, you may not think it's a lot, but it is. And 40% is a huge amount as well. So say they've got an Aphrodite on the enemy team healing up the enemy ADC, you can just go along and start punching the ADC. They're not going to be able to heal as much, and then obviously you've got the rest of Bellona's kit, like her Scourge and stuff, to sort of stop him auto-attacking, and basically he is screwed. So really useful for dealing with things like that, but if they haven't got any healers, then there's not really much point in getting that. RC, if you want some lifesteal, a really good item, gives you some attack speed as well and some physical penetration. Also, if you drop below 35% health, then you gain an additional 25% lifesteal for 5 seconds. So pretty much if you're in sort of a one-on-one battle, maybe even a one-on-two battle, and you drop to really low health, you're basically not going to be able to die. You're going to have so much lifesteal, you're just going to be able to keep hitting away and healing back up, and they're not going to be able to kill you. Obviously in a team fight, if everyone's attacking you, then you will eventually die, but that's really useful in sort of one-on-ones, one-on-two situations. Not an essential item, but if you want some lifesteal, I would go with RC because it gives you the attack speed as well and also the passive. Defensive items, Mail of Renewal, really useful despite the fact that it's been nerfed like twice recently. Gives you some physical protection, not as much health anymore, but it still gives you some health. 15% cooldown reduction, really useful, and also regenerates 15% of your health and mana over the next 5 seconds when you get a kill or an assist. So really useful item there. Now normally I always say if you get Mail of Renewal, don't get Spirit Robe, but that's because most junglers you're going to start off with Jotun's Wrath, and that gives you 25% cooldown, so after you get Mail of Renewal you're capped out at 40%, you can't get any more than that. Whereas with Bellona it's different because you don't get Jotun's Wrath, so you can go ahead and get Mail of Renewal and Spirit Robe. That's going to give you 30% cooldown reduction in total, which is really useful. So if you want more protections, if you want some overall protections, like you want some physical and magical, go for Spirit Robe. If you want Mail of Renewal, which I always get it, it's really useful, go for that. And then if you want more protections afterwards, get Spirit's Robe. In terms of actives, Purification Beads is always a must. First active, then second active, you sort of just leave until later. It's not really worth getting one early. But if the game does go to sort of super late game, maybe consider a second active. Getting level 3 teleport, shielded teleport is really useful, because that's going to allow you to teleport towards. So say you are in a team fight and you're really low, you have to run away and recall to base. You can then teleport to a ward back into that team fight. Just be careful that the ward isn't like in the middle of the team fight, because the enemy team will be able to see the ward as you're teleporting to it, so they'll be able to destroy it, which kind of sucks, but just be aware of that. Shell's a really strong item on Bellona because it gives your teammates physical and magical protections, and also reduces all the damage they take by 15%, and if they're standing inside of your ultimate, your Eagle's Rally circle, they gain extra physical protections as well. So basically you can't die if you've got Shell on and you're inside the Bellona ultimate. So that's a really strong combination. But pretty much with second actives, it's just whatever you might need. Another weakening curse could be a useful thing if they've got a lot of healing. Don't pop it at the same time as the one that your support gets, but sort of after the one your support has wears off, use it again if it's sort of an extended team fight. But pretty much get Purification Beads. If it goes to super late game and you need a second active, just sort of pick it on the situation. So now onto how to level Bellona's ability. So you're going to start off with her Bludgeon, that does an absolute ton of damage, then get Shield Bash. Now the Shield Bash is really useful in terms of which weapons you're attacking with. So I recommend attacking with the Sword and Shield as much as you can, because it gains you a stack of block, which will block an auto attack from an enemy god and reflect 30% of it. Now you may say that, like, I see a lot of people using Scourge a lot, but you shouldn't be, even though it does give you 30 to 50 healing depending on what level it is, every 3 auto attacks. That's nothing compared to blocking an entire auto attack. That auto attack that you're blocking, that's presuming the enemy's auto attacking you, is going to do so much more damage than that 30, even the 50 will heal. So it's really not worth to go for the heal if they're going to be auto attacking you, which most gods, even auto-based gods, will auto-attack you a few times during a fight, so I'd say it's much more worthwhile to attack with Shield Bash. Get your another level into your Scourge at level 3, or get your first level into your Scourge at level 3, if you think you're going to be attacking an auto-based god soon. If not, just put another level into your Bludgeon, which is going to help you do a load of damage sort of in burst, because you hit one target or multiple targets and then you slam down onto one target and they just take so much damage. It's crazy how much damage that ability does. Then get your Scourge after if you didn't before, so basically just sort of swap these around depending on whether you want the disarm at level 3 or not. Level 5, get Eagle's Rally, which is your ultimate, then just continue putting levels into your Bludgeon. Put a level into your Scourge when you can't put any more levels into your Bludgeon. Finish off the Bludgeon at level 9. Then continue on leveling your Scourge. Now you may be saying, oh, you told us to attack with the Sword and Shield from Shield Bash. Why are we leveling the Scourge? That's because the Sword and Shield, the stats of it aren't affected by Shield Bash whatsoever. That damage is just the damage that the dash does. And yes, you get a better slow, but you've got Frostbound Hammer for the slow anyway. The thing that the Scourge does, if you level it, is it increases the disarm duration, which is a really strong thing to have, especially against a team with quite a few auto-based gods, so you're going to want to get that. So now it's between Shield Bash or Eagle's Rally. So if you're team fighting a lot and you want to sort of buff the stats on that circle, you want to give it, allow it to have more protections, you want the flag to last longer, you want to give your team more physical power, then put some levels into your ultimate. If you sort of want more chase, like enemies are getting away, you want the slow, then put some levels into Shield Bash, but it really just depends on the situation, but something like that would be absolutely fine. So now onto the tips and tricks section of the guide, and I'm sorry about no game audio, I'm not quite sure what happened, but I fixed that now and all my future game clips do have audio on them. So here you see if the target is running away, you're going to want to use your 1, which is going to slow them, then secure the burst damage with your 2, and then hit them with your 3, which then gives you the Scourge to attack with, as you see here, which if they're moving away from you, it's going to allow you to keep hitting them because it has an extended attack range, so that's really useful if they're trying to run away. So in the next clip, you're going to see that I use my 3 for the disarm, and then Who's that? I can't see who that is. It's Neith is trying to get away. So I use my ultimate to sort of try and secure that, and then your 2, after you dunk down, also has a slight range on it if they're trying to escape as well, so that's really, really useful for that. And then in this clip, I know that Neith is going to try and backflip, wait for the backflip, and then you use the 1 if, like, I was too far away to use the 1 before she backflipped anyway, but if I'd been closer I would have waited for the backflip, because you always want to sort of wait for your opponent to use their escape. Sort of try and bait their escape out before you start attacking, because otherwise you slow them and they can just dash away or jump away or whatever, and it's kind of pointless. So there you see me tower diving using my ultimate for the protections, and then used my 3 for the damage. You can just use those abilities for the damage that they do on cast, which is a good thing to do if you're sort of in tower and you need to kill them quickly with burst. Here you see me jump into a massive team fight. Now the ultimate doesn't stun anymore, I don't believe, but it still does a ton of damage, so do that, and then use the 1 in order to slow them. Now here's probably a much better example of how to fight, using the 3 to disarm Neith, and then using the 1 so that any auto attacks she hit me with would get blocked. Well, I get 1 stack of block every 3 hits I hit on her, so she basically couldn't do much damage. Then here in the team fight, I ulted in the middle of it to give my team protections and physical power, so that really helped us out in the team fight, and then also used my 1 to slow target and then killed them. So that's pretty much it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it and found it useful. If you didn't, let me know why in the comments. Constructive criticism always helps me out. If you did like it, then leave a like, subscribe to see more, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.